All right, welcome, ladies and gents. Hope everybody's doing well. Man, it feels like I haven't been on here in a while. Today we got a real freaking treat for you. Powered by Black Cherry, Whole Foods. Never go there, but I did, and then also some cold brew. So let's get right into it. This is SDR Q&A. If you have questions about hosting, drop them in the comments. Happy to answer them if they pertain to one of the three topics that I brought, and if not, we will answer them at the end. So let's get right into it. I made a post. It was, I don't know, earlier this week about a guest damage. They cost $4,166 in guest damages at one of our properties that we manage, and what we're going to do about it. So I figured, I got so many like DMs that it's kind of wild that this stuff happens more than you think. And by the amount of DMs that I got, it's like it's wild. So if you have been experienced any of this, like, you are not the only one. We do so much vetting and so much pre-qualification before people stay. We price up for stays like this, but it happens. Shit happens. So if it's happened to you, like, today I'm going to go through a couple things of like things that we do before booking, during booking, and then after booking to help us get this recouped, because the guest will pay for it. Like, we will fight to the end to get this $4,166 back. So kudos to our team for really just jumping on this. Our inspectors, our cleaners, like our freaking rock stars. But all that to say, I'm going to give you some like tips and tricks on what we've done for that specific nightmare guest. An update from executive assistant. So if you weren't on last week's call, I'm hiring a personal admin executive assistant that is going to be helping me be more efficient and trying to buy back some of my time. I read Dan Martell's Buy Back Your Time book, and it freaking changed my life. So I'm finally acting on it, and I'm excited. We're 3 days in, and it's pretty freaking crazy, the amount of impact that's going to have. But I'm going to go a little bit into that. And then number 3, minimum night stays around holidays. Me and Riley, my business partner, just did probably 2 hours worth of pricing revenue management around Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's. And you are going to want this giveaway I'm going to give at the end, because I'm going to put this all in a Google Doc and just give it away. Because I want to be the resource that I didn't have whenever I first started. So let's get right into it. Drop your questions below. And let's talk about this problem guest. So we had a guest stay at a property, one of our South Charlotte properties, for like 35 days, 33 days, something like that. It was a long-term stay. They had great reviews. They had like 4 5-star reviews on Airbnb or Vrbo. I can't remember, but they had great reviews. They checked all of our qualifications. Like, what are you doing in town? It wasn't a local stay. It wasn't a cheap stay. They stayed like for $5,000 a month or something like that. And the ID checked out. Like, we do a lot. So it got through all of our tests, right? We have the house rules. Like, we're long story short, we're going to recoup this money from the guest one way or the other. There's like multiple layers of protection that we have in place, which I'm not going to go into this detail, but kind of pre-booking, like posting your house rules on your listing, is a very, very smart thing to do. Some hosts don't want to do it because they don't want to seem too strict. I like being upfront and honest on those rules, because it also weeds out the bad apples. The other people are going to the new listings with no rules and, low rates. So we put all that on the front end. We do some guest verification on the back end as well. Collect ID, front, back. If they don't want to do that, huge red flag. No local number, local name, local state, ID, things like that. So we've got like 4 or 5 checks along the way. So long story short, they got through all of our tests, and it happens. Like, this stuff happens no matter what you can do. I had one buddy reach out to say, like, man, you must have had a really cheap stay. No, this was like a $5,000 month. Like, it was a pricey month. These people just lives like slob. So it's not only the 1-night stays, 2-night stays that are $400. Like there are people on the premium high end, $5,000 a month is like that's a serious rental. So there are people on that end that this stuff happens. There's bad apples in the luxury market, in the medium market, and in the cheap market. So what we are doing is we put an air cover request in for the things. Airbnb has already reached out to us. We will collect from them, from the guest. So I don't know if you guys know this, how Airbnb works. I just recently learned this, but I think it's pretty cool for us hosts, is if we send an air cover request, the guest denies it. They have like 48 hours to either pay it or deny it, or like send a counter offer. They deny it. Airbnb, that's when air cover steps in and covers the damages that they deem recoverable. So it's great. But one thing that I didn't know until recently is Airbnb takes these people to collections afterwards. So even if the guest decides not to pay, Airbnb will pay and activate their insurance on behalf of the host to cover our tail, but also on the back end, they are actually going after the guest and taking them to collections for them not paying their bill. So for hosts, it's awesome because usually we think the guests just can do whatever they want and get off the hook and like, oh, okay, whatever, like cause $1,000 worth of damage. Like, no, they are going to collections. They will get reported. I think they're already kicked off Airbnb platform specifically. So there will be repercussions for that guest specifically. So from a host perspective, it makes me feel good because they're just not getting off the hook. They, caused a lot of pain and effort and money for our client, for our team. We're taking the brunt of it, but just making our client whole is my goal. That's literally all that I care about, and making sure our team is compensated for that. So a couple things you do there before and after, but it was I screenshot it on my Instagram of like, they were stealing doorknobs. It was freaking ridiculous. It was one of the, I'd probably say top 3 craziest like things that had happened in the 5 years of doing this. So I think that's enough for the guest damage. If anybody has any specific questions, feel free to drop them below. So, all right. Point number 2 is I'm really excited. We hired an executive assistant. Me and Riley are sharing one resource, a virtual assistant that is the same firm as all of our other virtual assistants. They're going to be helping us with admin, call recaps. He created this like really cool graphic yesterday of how to delegate my inbox. So that's one thing. My goal in 3 months is to never respond to an email again. Like it'll be my assistant. That's my goal. Don't know if it'll happen, but it's a lofty goal because I do not like emails, and having the ability for an EA to train and get all of the resources self-sufficient to answer those emails. And then for the 10% that they can't answer, that gets escalated to me. So I can spend my time and effort on the highest use and best use of my time, which is growing the business, directing the ship where it needs to go. So a little bit of update from the executive assistant. I'm excited, but also like, this is such a new role, man. Like I keep forgetting that any new role comes new SOPs, new things that they do, new KPIs. Like it's just a whole new, like I had this moment Tuesday. I was like, I don't even know where to like start. I need like a framework of a brain dump of like, oh crap, yes, can you do this? Like, oh crap, yeah, can you do this? Like, can you do this? It's just, you kind of forget how much of a heavy lift like a new employee is, and how much training and effort that you really invest in these people. So no real action items there. Just wanted to kind of share an update. But number 3, and drop your questions. Happy to answer them. So we spent, I don't know, hours looking at, we started to get Thanksgiving or Christmas reservations in, and it's July 30th if you're watching further on the replay. So we're like mid-peak season, about to head into August here in a couple of days. So we started to get Thanksgiving reservations, 4-night, $1,500, $2,000, $2,500 reservations. And we're like, oh, okay, sweet. That's a what, a 5-month booking window, something like that. When the average is like 14 to 21 days in this market. So it's good that we're getting that. For us, it was a little early to be honest with you. That I was thinking, I'm like, oh, okay, like Christmas, okay, yeah. I mean, the neighborhood is less than 1% occupied, but we've already got like probably 4 Christmas reservations. So what we did, we spent hours in Price Labs and setting up all of our minimum night stays. It's interesting because like depending on what day Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's fall on, depends on the minimum night stays that I think you guys should have. So if you're like accepting a 3-day booking for Christmas, you've already lost. Like don't be that host. If you follow me, like trust me, do not allow anything less than 3 nights for any of those nights. So I am going to put our like settings. I'm going to put our settings in a Google Doc and then I'm going to send it away. So for the 5 people that are watching here, shoot me a message on Instagram. Just saying you watched the live and you want the Google Doc about the minimum night stays. I'll put screenshots. I might put in even like reasons why we did it this way, but I'm going to be giving you like 3 hours worth of our work for free to hopefully maximize your guys' holiday schedule. So you're not getting like cheap reservations or making, or like one that not a lot of people think of is, when do your cleaners have off during Thanksgiving and Christmas? Like most our cleaners have Christmas Eve and Christmas Day off. So I do not want a checkout to happen on those days because I know our cleaners cannot turn it those days. Therefore, it is an unused night and it's lost revenue. So I am forcing people to stay through that gap. For sure. Like I want the 5-night stay all the way through Christmas. It sounds stupid, but like there are some weird travel schedules of like Monday to Thursday and people leave on Christmas Eve and you just screw the pooch and you can't book Christmas anymore. So I'm not going to let that happen to you. Shoot me a message on Instagram or Facebook, whatever. You're probably watching this on Facebook, but shoot me a message. I will give you that Google Doc. I will probably make like a reel about it and give it away as well this week. So that is all I have got. Let me just make sure there's not any comments anywhere. Oh, I forgot to hit live on Instagram. Sweet. Go Caleb. Good freaking job. If anybody's got any questions, drop them below. I think we've still got, we're still on YouTube, LinkedIn, some other platforms. I will hold on for maybe 30 more seconds and then we will rock and roll. Also, if you guys didn't watch last week's live stream, I audited 3 listings that people want a free listing audit. I charge $100 to audit a listing. They're 3 really, really good ones, honestly. Like listing optimized. There are little tweaks, mainly around like minimum night stays and Price Lab setup, but the listings themselves were like dialed. So go back, watch that. I've got so many freaking, I think that is probably my most viewed live is like the listing reviews, the listing audits where people are like, hey, can you audit mine? Can you audit mine? Can you audit mine? I'm going to do these more frequently, maybe like once a month. And just like give you the knowledge and the reason behind why we do a lot of the scenarios that we do, because I mean, we split test so many things. Like I'm definitely not an expert, but like I know by doing and failing more times than not on almost anything. Like one big takeaway last week was turn your photo tour off. The photo tour sucks. You can't like guide people down the marketing journey and like tell a story. I understand it from a Airbnb's perspective. They want to like group rooms, so it helps. But I'm a big proponent of like turning a photo tour off and creating a story and guiding people through the exact photos that you want to show. And I've got data to back it up too. So, all right, cool. Thank you guys for watching. The 4 that are still here, thank you. Love you guys. Let me know if I can help. Peace.